Hey guys, sorry if you can hear my laundry room. I'm not gonna go in there and close it right now. So I was gonna look up some historical horror movies, just so you guys can watch them if you're into like historical horror movies. Now some of these are probably fiction, some of these are not actual like historical events or anything like that. Like they don't actually have any historical events in them. But the first one I found is called Little Strangers, and if I'm looking away, it's because I'm looking at the iPad that I have here. I gotta hurry because it's gonna die soon. It's called The Little Stranger. Stupid notification. And it says, after a doctor is called to visit a crumbling manor, strange things begin to happen. So I don't know how that's historical, but it says it is. So, yeah. I Sell the Dead is the next one. It says, a grave robber reflects on his life of crime. I can see where that might be a little bit, like, history-based, because he's going back to his time when he was, robbing stuff. Now, this one, I do not think it's really, like, it has some, like, historical type elements in it, but I don't think it is. Like, this is crazy, though. Army of Darkness. When Ash Williams is accidentally transported to 1300 AD, he must retrieve the Necronomicon and battle an army of the dead in order to return home. Yeah, well, 1000 or 1300 AD, that's a long time ago. That is a real time period, but this movie, to me, doesn't seem like a historical horror movie. I'm just saying. Neither does this one, Frankenstein's Army. In the dying days of World War II, a battalion of Russian soldiers lured into the secret lab of a deranged scientist and forced to face off against an army of horrific flesh and metal war machines. While World War II is obviously real, this movie is probably not. The events in it is probably real, but like the rest of it is probably not real. You know what I mean? I don't know. I guess that's the only reason it's historical is because of, let me move this back out of the way. It's because of, like, the World War II element. Death Watch. In the middle of World War I. Okay, so this is the 5th movie, by the way. In the middle of World War I, 9 British soldiers caught behind the enemy lines seek refuge in a complex network of German trenches. What they soon discover is that they aren't alone, and it isn't a German soldier that's hunting them down. That actually sounds really good. So I believe, like, some of the events are probably, like, based on something true, but, like, again, what's stalking them? Like, the creature is probably a creature, and that's probably not real, but everything else is probably real. Okay, 1922. A simple yet proud farmer in the year 1922 conspires to murder his wife for financial gain, convincing his teenage son to assist, but their actions have unintended consequences. So I feel like that one is like more realistic than any of the other ones we've been talking about. 1922, it seems like a real, like based on a real historical event and stuff. My stupid cat wants in. I thought I'd just let her in. I don't even know when she went out. I'm so confused, guys. Hold on, let me go let her in. I'm sorry. Daddy cat. Sorry guys, my stupid cat was wasting my time. She didn't even come in. She was taking her slow ass time too. Anyway, so 1922 seems like the most realistic one so far. Sauna. As a 25-year-old war between Russia and Sweden concludes, two brothers who are part of an effort to outline new border accords become undone by their actions and their mistreatment of a young woman during their journey. Now that one also, sounds like it could actually happen. You know, like, that one sounds more realistic than, like, Army of Darkness or Frankenstein's Army. I'm sorry, it just seems more realistic to me. This one is called The Others. In 1945, immediately following the end of the Second World War, a woman who lives with her two photosensitive children on her darkened old family estate in the Channel Islands becomes convinced that the home is haunted. Sorry, I can't talk. Okay, again, some of this seems like, like it could actually be real and, like, true and stuff. But the other part is like, well, if the house is haunted, is that actually real? Because some haunted places have been debunked, and some are, like, actually real. So, yeah. Oh, my nose looks kind of red. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to still be sick or something. But, yeah, that's why I kind of wanted to do a little bit of still an entertaining video, but something easy for me to do. Okay, and this next one is called The Bride. After years of research, the doctor finally succeeds in creating the perfect woman who gets her name Eva. That sounds interesting. I don't know how that's related to history or anything, but okay. The next one is called The Burrowers. In the Wild West, a rescue party sets out to find a family of settlers that have vanished from their home under mysterious circumstances. I think I've heard of this movie. I don't know if it's based on, like, real events or not. It may be, but it seems to me like there might be something with a creature in it, so I have no idea. Let me guys know what you think down below. The Frankenstein, or not the Frankenstein, I don't know how that's history related, but okay, I guess because it's such a historical movie, I guess you could say, when it came out, it's been around forever, maybe. When the brilliant but unorthodox scientist Dr. Victor Frankenstein rejects the artificial man that he has created, the creature escapes and later swears revenge. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below, and let me know what you think down below in the comments. The Raven. Okay, so this next one's called The Raven, which that's my cat's name, and she's sitting outside the window again, making me mad. When a madman begins committing horrific murders inspired by Edgar Allan Poe's works, a young Baltimore detective joins forces with Poe to stop him from making his stories a reality. To me, that sounds funny. I don't know why. That's actually really cool, though. I would actually watch this movie. It's on Prime Video, though, but you gotta pay for it, so I would still watch it, though. It seems interesting. This one, I am not sure if this is historical in any way, shape, or form. I've heard of this movie. I've never watched it, though, and that's Pam's Labyrinth. I can't say it. Labyrinth. I'm sorry, I'm probably saying it wrong. In the Falanges, Spain of 1944, the bookish young stepdaughter of a sadistic army officer escapes into an eerie but captivating fantasy world. Wow, that's crazy. There's a lot more than I thought, but I'm only going to do a few more because there's a lot. I'm going to do some that I find would probably be realistic, Okay, so the next one is called I can't say it. Apostle, I think that's how you say it. In 1905, a drifter on a dangerous mission to rescue his kidnapped sister tangles with a sinister religious cult on an isolated island. To me, that sounds more realistic, like kidnapping and the time period that it's in, and religious cult. Like, I believe that for sure. This next one is The Black Death. Set during the time of the first outbreak of bubonic plague in England, a young monk is given the task of learning the truth about reports of people being brought back to life in a small village. Okay, at first, it got my attention because it seemed so realistic, but then, you bring people back to life. That just, no, I'm sorry. That's where it lost me. I'm like, I know it's supposed to be, I know some of it is supposed to be fiction. And some of it's supposed to be, like, actually, like, you know, the events and stuff. I guess you could say. If you get what I'm saying, you know? Sorry. Okay, The Nun. Okay, I don't know about this one. Ed and Lorraine Warren have been, like, people have said that they're scammers and their things were debunked and stuff. But I believe that this demonic force is real. Honestly, I do. The Nun. A priest with a haunted past and a novice on the threshold of her final vows are sent by the Vatican to investigate the death of a young nun in Romania and confront a malevolent force in the form of a demonic nun. Sorry, I'm trying to talk and it's really hard for me. I do have dyslexia, so I'm sorry about that. So we'll continue. The Awakening. Again, some of it could have like actual elements of like the real world, the real war in it, but I don't know. Like some of it, most of it's probably fiction, but some of it's like probably like has some scenes that are actually what happened. I could be wrong. I don't know. In 1921, England is overwhelmed by the loss and grief of World War I. Hawks exposer Florence Cathcart visits a boarding school to explain sightings of a child ghost. Everything she believes in rebels as the missing begin to show themselves. That one actually sounds really interesting. Like, even if some of the stuff is not real, it seems interesting. Like, these are supposed to be like, you know, horror movies though, so probably none of it is actually real. Besides, you know, like the World War I and stuff in there. Those elements are probably the only thing that are real in there. Okay, one of my favorite movies, Sleepy Hollow. Who doesn't love Sleepy Hollow? But I don't know why this is in historical horror movies. Ichabod Crane is sent to Sleepy Hollow to investigate the decapitations of 3 people. The culprit is legendary apparition, the Headless Horseman. I love that movie. I could watch it all day, honestly. Okay, Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. This is another good movie. I think I've read the book more than I've actually seen the movie, though. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president of the United States, discovers vampires are planning to take over the United States. He makes it his mission to eliminate them. Obviously, the only thing that's real about this is Abraham Lincoln, and he's the 16th president of the United States. That is actually factual. We all know that. But the rest is not real. And it's just there to be fun. You know, it's a fun movie, honestly. Okay, this next one, I really enjoyed this one. And no, none of this actually happened because it's from a book. But Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, which is also a book. There's Pride and Prejudice and there's Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I mean, the 19th century England is real, but the rest of it is not. 5 sisters in 19th century England must cope with the pressures to marry while protecting themselves from a growing population of zombies. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, this next one. I guess this is like historical because it's in the past. I don't really know. It's The Conjuring. Paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren work to help a family terrorized by a dark presence in their farmhouse. So, I do like the Conjuring series. I should do a ranking video one day, but yeah, I don't know how this is historic. I guess maybe because Ed and Lorraine Warren have done so many cases throughout history. I'm not sure. The next one is Season of the Witch. It says 14th century knights transport a suspected witch to a monastery where monks deduced that her powers could be the source of the Black Plague. Well, some elements like 14th century knights, that part could be real, and the monastery could be real, but I don't know about the witch and her powers being that of the Black Plague, but we did have a Black Plague, so I don't know. This next one is Red Riding Hood. Set in a medieval village that is haunted by a werewolf, haunted by a werewolf. A young girl falls for an orphaned woodcutter, much to her family's displeasure. I remember watching this, and I love this movie, by the way. It was such a good movie. So yeah, I love this movie. I don't know why it's in the historical horror movies, though, but it is what it is. Bram Stoker's Dracula. I can see why this one is... Well, I can see why Frankenstein and Dracula are so historic, because they've been around for so long. The centuries-old vampire Count Dracula comes to England to seduce his barrister Jonathan Hawker's fiancée, Mina Beret, and inflict havoc in the foreign land. That one's been around for so long. That and Frankenstein. Hold on, cat. Let me finish my video. You already upset me. You didn't come in a while ago. Anyway, The Witch, or The Vitch, because it's spelled V-V-I-T-C-H. It's pronounced witch, but it looks like a bitch. You know. A family in 1630s New England is torn apart by the forces of witchcraft, black magic, and possession. So I will say, give credit to this one, because it does actually look like it's from the 1630s. Like, the way they set it up, the way they filmed it, the way they did this movie was just so great. I love the movie, and I love the background of it. So it was really interesting. And the last movie I want to talk about, there are so many more I could talk about. If you want another part 2, give this a thumbs up. But I'm going to go with this last one. Bone Tomahawk. In the dying days of the Old West, an elderly sheriff and his posse set out to rescue their town's doctor from cannibalistic cave dwellers. Well, I do believe in the Old West, you know, I don't know about cave dwellers. But, oh, well, actually, now that I think about it, there actually was, like, cannibalistic cave dwellers in there. So, I do kind of believe that, you know. I'm just trying to see something else real quick. So, there's one movie called The Pale Blue Eye. And it's basically about a veteran detective, Augustus Landor, investigates a series of grisly murders with the help of a young cadet who will eventually go on to become the world-famous author, Edgar Allan Poe. So I just saw that on, like, what I was looking at, and I thought that was interesting. So that's why I just clicked that. So I kind of lied to you guys. There's, like, an extra one in there. But the rest of them I'm looking at really just seem like not real, you know, like, oh wait, this one seems kind of real. So this one will be the last one. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, it's in Spanish, but I can, it says here in English. And this was called The History of the Occult, which I believe that there are some. On the final broadcast of 60 Minutes to Midnight, Adrian Marcotto exposes a conspiracy that links the government to a coven. Now, I don't know about all that, but I do believe, like, some of that could actually be true. Like, obviously the cult and stuff, and, like, the government and stuff. So, yeah, there's so many more that I could probably talk about, but some of these just don't seem like historical movies to me, though. And I'm sorry to say that, like, I'm like, how is this historical? Or whatnot, anyway. Let me know if you've watched any of these movies. Let me know if, you know, like, you want to see any other type of videos. Friday, I'm going to be ranking the Final Destination movies. So, I'm excited for that. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a longer one. I was going to try to go a little bit easier, but I ended up just talking about the movies and then leaving for a little while, so I'm sorry about that. My cat wanted in, and then she didn't come in, and she pissed me off, so I left her out there, but she's okay. It's daytime. She's okay. She likes being outside during the day, and I'm sorry if you can hear my washer and my dryer and all that stuff, or actually just my washer, and Roxy wants up here with me, but I'm fixing to go and probably take a nap or something, or read. I'm feeling really exhausted. Like, I'm still kind of sick. It's taken a lot out of me. I don't know how I'm still talking. But, yeah. Let me know. Did you guys enjoy this? I did. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.